I kind of want to try some ASMR. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Nat from Nat's Narrative, and this video is going to be a reading vlog spanning the last 2 weeks of June, which is Pride Month, and I am celebrating. So there's going to be a few things throughout the vlog to celebrate that. At the beginning of the month, I set 2 goals, and one of them is going okay. The other one, not so much. So I decided that I was going to cancel my Kindle Unlimited subscription for the moment, in an effort, hello, in an effort to read more physical books. I did cancel it. I have not read a single physical book this month. Um, the other goal was to only read queer books, which I guess I'm doing, but I haven't finished a single book this month yet. So eh, you know, if you're new here, you might not know that I'm part of a book club. It's called Entre Líneas, which means in between the lines in Spanish. And we meet at the end of each month. I've been hosting 1 month yes, 1 month no since we began. And so for June, I decided to host a Pride pool party. Yes. And they also decided that I was going to pick the book of the month, and I'm pretty sure that they thought that I was going to pick a summary, queer, romantic comedy, something fun and light. Instead, I picked the Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller for us to read, um, for Pride Month. I picked this book not because I like pain, but because I've had it on my physical TBR for years now. And, right. But also, I did a reread of Circe in February, and that reminded me how much I love Madeline Miller's writing. So I thought this year was a great time to read this finally. And if I'm gonna be in pain, the book club girlies are also going to be in pain, right? As for the audiobook that I'm listening to, I am obsessed with it. I guess it's the only book I've been reading this month, and I'm not finished with it yet because I'm obsessed with the story and the characters. So I've been listening to a little bit each day so that it lasts longer, if that makes any sense. The book is Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reed. It's a sapphic dystopian story, with the comp title The Last of Us meets The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The story takes place in New Amsterdam in a what seems to be a not so distant future. Um, but basically, everything is controlled by this one corporation. They are in charge of communications and media and all of that, but they also sell everything that there is to sell. They also seem to be sort of like a bank. So if you need to pay for anything, you would use it with their apps. And if they use a credit system, you pay things with credits. And it's very easy for people to go into debt, like huge debt. And the way that people end up paying their debt is by participating or sponsoring a loved one to participate in the gauntlet, which is basically a hunt. You're choosing either yourself or your loved one, your spouse, your child, your parent, to be hunted by these angels. The angels are really just teenage girls who've been modified and trained to be killing machines, basically. I did mention it was sapphic. There is a sapphic romance in here between the two main characters. Their names are Inessa, which is the newer lamb, and then Melinoe, which is one of the angels who recently she's been experiencing some faults in her programming, I guess you could say. There's also a lot of discussion on media and how it can be controlled and how the narrative can be set. And that do remind me a lot of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I forgot to mention, the Gauntlet is streamed live, of course. There is a lot of talk about how the Watcher also carries blood in their hands, because if no one watched the Gauntlet, there would be no Gauntlet. If it wasn't popular, no, it wouldn't exist. So the people watching in their tablets at home are also at fault for what is happening. And I think that is incredibly relevant today, because I feel like as a society, we can get incredibly desensitized very quickly to horrible images on our phones, um, and even make memes out of it. I'm talking, it's set in a distant future, but is it? Like, it could very well be happening today if you think about it. Anyway, I am obsessed with the book. I only have like an hour and 30 minutes left. I'm probably going to finish it in the next few days. I've just really been trying to make it last as long as possible. Um, I love the two main characters. It is split POV between the two of them, so I love hearing their different voices. Um, because we have Melinoe, who is an angel, she knows a lot of the behind the scenes that go into the gauntlet, the whole media part of it, but also all of the things that were done to her body uh, and her mind for her to become this killing machine. So that was also very cool. But yes, very excited to finish that book, and we'll talk more about it when I do. Anyway, it's so hot. Even though the sun is down, I'm still sweating. So I'm going to get in the pool and read a little bit of the Song of Achilles before there's no light. Now that I have this mic, I kind of want to try some ASMR. Anyway, okay, as for a reading update, I only ended up reading a chapter while I was in the pool, so that was 26 pages. It just got way too dark for me to keep reading. So far in the story, we get to see what Patroclus' childhood was like up until he gets exiled by his father, the king, and is sent to a different kingdom to be, I guess, raised by another king, um, and that's where he meets Achilles for the second time. But that's it so far. Okay, I've got my coffee and I've got my book. I just need to find a spot to read, and then I'm gonna go to my Pilates class, and once I come back, I do want to decorate that top shelf and do a little rainbow moment with the books. So I'm gonna pick which books I want to do that with. But yeah, you guys will see that in a bit. Hello guys, I think it's time for a reading update. So yesterday I did end up getting up to page 102 of the Song of Achilles. That's really good progress, I think. Um, Up to this point, it's really more of Patroclus' childhood after he gets exiled and how he's dealing with being so far away from home and everything he knows, how he's dealing with what he did, his crime, and then how he ends up becoming Achilles' companion, how they grow up together, just all of the joys and humiliations of being teenage boys. Um, right where I left off, they're both 16, full of hormones, and discovering themselves in each other. While I was doing the bookshelves, I did put the last 30 minutes of Fable for the End of the World by Abba Reed, the audiobook. And I have to say that I kind of ruined the ending for myself because I was listening a couple of nights ago while I was doing chores around my room, and it got to that point, like last 30 minutes, the stakes were super high. It was the climax, okay? It was the good stuff was happening, and I decided to pause it and to continue later on once I was in front of a camera, like once I was filming. What possessed me to do so? I don't know. I don't know, but I hate myself for it because as I'm listening tonight, I cannot get back into it. I cannot ease into it. I cannot even jump into it. I can't. I cannot feel anything about what's happening. Um, so yeah, I have only myself to blame for that. And it is a lesson to be learned by me and by anyone else. Do the thing. Do the thing right now. Don't wait. It's not worth it. Do the thing right now. Drink your coffee right now. Eat the pastry. Finish the book. Don't wait until there's a camera in front of you to do the thing, because then the thing is just not going to be as good. I think an open ending was the right thing to do for the type of story, for the world building, for what was happening. Um, I don't think it could have been resolved in any other way while still keeping true to the world. But yeah, I did give it 5 stars because I did absolutely love the entire, like, most of the book, right? Um, I loved the character so much. I loved the world building. I loved the storyline. I loved everything. I was 100% emotionally invested up until the point where I ruined things for myself, okay? And that's on me, not Ava. Ava did nothing wrong. But yeah, uh, if you're in the mood for a sapphic dystopian book this Pride Month or any month, it doesn't have to be June. You can read this whenever. Um, I highly recommend Fable for the End of the World. I might end up reading a couple of pages of this before bed, but that highly depends on how I feel after my Herculean task and everything shower. So depends how tired I am after I get out of the shower and like do my skincare, my hair care, and everything. I might read a few pages. I'm not gonna film it though. I'm gonna listen to my own advice and just do it for my own personal enjoyment. Okay? I will not see you tomorrow because I have a date. But I will most definitely see you on Sunday. Hello, guys. It's been a few days since the last update, but I have been reading. I've just not been in the mood to be in front of a camera, but no worries. I am up to page 270 something of the Song of Achilles, um, and I only have about 90 pages left of the book, so I've been doing good. On Friday, I did end up reading a chapter or two before bed, and then Sunday was a super lazy day. Stayed in my PJs, ordered pizza, and just read for a long time. I ended up making it to page 202. And then yesterday, which was Monday, I did read up to page 200 and something, 270 something. Like I said, I have 90 pages left, and based on where I'm left off and what I know of the War of Troy, because I've consumed the story in different formats before, like in movies and TV shows, I know where things are going. It's no spoiler to me, but it's been really interesting to see the story from the point of view of Patroclus, which is a character that I'm being honest, I never really paid much attention to in the past. They actually didn't even get to Troy until like page 210, which for me was good because one of the reasons why I had um, procrastinated so much on reading the book was because I already knew what happened during the war, and the war lasted 10 years. So I was not excited to read a 369 page book about that, but thankfully over half of the book doesn't even happen during like the War of Troy. So that was good. I'm getting mentally prepared to be heartbroken. But yeah, we are going to read outside for a little bit, and then I'm gonna film that, and I might just end up going inside and finishing the book off camera. Maybe depends how bad the mosquitoes get. Depends. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys once I finish the book. Hello everyone, this is the second time that I filmed this because my mic just stopped working in the middle of me talking, and I didn't realize, and I talked for 10 minutes. But anyway, last time we spoke was Tuesday night. It is now Thursday. After I finished the Song of Achilles, I obviously was devastated, emotionally devastated, and I just needed a couple of days to gather my thoughts, okay? If you didn't know, how could you not have known? Patroclus dies first, and then he continues to narrate the story, and I love the way that she wrote that. I love the ending, which sounds weird, like the last pages, okay? The resolution, like the end. I love that. That did give me, I mean, it did make me feel a little better, I guess you could say. Um, just the way that the afterlife is thought to be by the Greeks. But yeah, um, the writing style, beautiful, as per usual, beautiful. She writes in such a way that it's just, I feel like the most mundane things sometimes are the way she describes them are some of the most beautiful, like, words that could be put together. And I don't know how she does that, but yeah, my one thing that I have against the book is that there is this one secondary character. They're not very important in the grand scheme of things. And in every version of this story that I've been able to find, that either the movies or the TV show that I saw or the Google search that I did right after I finished the book, this character survives the War of Troy. But for some reason, Madeline, 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 if you by some miracle are watching this, Madeline, why? Why did you feel the need to kill off this character? Madeline, why? Did they do something to you? Did they look at you funny? Like, what was the reason? There's so many versions of the story, and in every single version, as far as I can tell, this character either survives or they have to. Like, they survive and it gets mentioned, or they survive and nobody cares about them enough to mention it. Why would she kill this character off? Like, at the very end, too, like, what was the reason? I'm very angry. I was sad because of Achilles and Patroclus, but then I was angry. I was so angry, and I still am 2 days later. Still, despite that, it had to be a 5-star read, which was predicted because it is, after all, Madeline Miller. But it was a journey. It was a journey. Loved it, but I'm also glad that it's over, if that makes any sense. I'm very excited to talk about the book with the girls from the book club. Today is Thursday night, and the pool party is on Saturday. So, very exciting. I also want to mention that I've picked my next read, and it's going to be The Raven Boys by Maggie something something. Okay? Don't kill me. I can't for the life of me pronounce that, but I actually started this series back in 2023, I think. I listened to the first 2 audiobooks back then and immediately went and bought the book set because I just loved them so much, and I was like, I want to finish off the series like by reading it physically, and I want to own the copies. Um, and then I just didn't read them. Um, are we surprised? I'm not. But I think it is a great time to try that again. Hopefully, finish it this time. I did say that I was only gonna read queer books this month, and even though there's only like 3 days left of the month, I'm not cheating because there is queer characters. There are queer characters in this book, and there is a romance, even though it's very slow burn, extremely slow burn, that if I'm not mistaken, by the time that the second book finishes, they're only just like accepting the fact that they're attracted to each other, like at the end of the second book. Okay, slow burn, but it's there. Okay, it's there, it's happening, and yeah, I'm very excited to go back into this world. I haven't even said what it's about, but basically it's about this group of boys who go to a private school in Virginia, and one of the boys in particular is very obsessed with finding the tomb of a Welsh king. Yes, you heard that right. And if you're wondering, why would a Welsh king be buried in Virginia? Great question. Great question. Read to find out. They also do enlist the help of this really cool girl, Blue. She's the coolest. I love her. And together they all go on this adventure around Virginia trying to find this old dead Welsh king. I do remember loving the story so much. I love the characters immensely. The way that she writes them, it's just you have FOMO because you wish you were part of the friend group. But I'm very excited to delve back into this story. I've been talking for a long time now, so I'm just gonna see you next time that I read. Hi guys, as I was finishing the editing for the video, I realized I never actually filmed an outro. So here it goes. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I really enjoyed filming this vlog. I had so much fun with the pool party that the book club and I had. I didn't end up filming that much because, as I said, I was having a lot of fun and the drinks were a little strong, and I only have myself to blame for that. I'm actually kind of surprised that I only read 2 books in the entire month. I did end up reading a lot of fan fiction, but as for books, I only finished 2 of them, both of which I've already talked a lot on this video, so I'm not gonna go over them again. I'm just gonna say 5 stars for both of them: The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller and Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reed. I highly, 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 highly recommend the both of them, especially though Fable for the End of the World. As for the Raven Boys, you guys did see me start that book, but I haven't really gotten very far into it yet, so I'm not gonna talk about it in this outro. But yeah, I'm very excited to read that book. I also recently broke my book buying ban. I hadn't bought a single book in over 4 months, and I broke it and I bought Sounds of Love by Ashley Poston. So I'm very excited to read that this summer as well. Anyway, I hope you guys had a lovely Pride Month. I did, and I'm glad that you could experience it with me, I guess. If you want to see more from me, you can check out my Instagram. It's gonna be linked down below, as well as my Fable and Goodreads accounts. I would highly appreciate it if you guys liked, commented, and subscribed to the channel. It's not that new anymore, but it is a baby channel, so any engagement helps a lot. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!